I'd spent weeks dreaming up Theo's birthday party. Every detail, every dollar, every second of my sanity poured into it. The rooftop venue glittered under the city lights, the band I'd begged to play was mid-set, and the cake, God, that cake, cost more than my rent. 3 years with him, and I thought this night would be ours. A celebration of him, sure, but also of us. I even wore a new dress, black and sleek, because I wanted him to look at me the way he used to. Instead, I stood there, clutching the crumpled receipt for it all, watching him drop to one knee in front of Tara. Tara, his coworker. The one he swore was just a friend when I'd asked about those late-night texts. The mic screeched as he took it, his voice shaky but loud enough to cut through the crowd. Tara, you've changed my life. Will you marry me? A ring flashed in his hand, cheap, gaudy, nothing like the one I'd once hinted I'd love. The crowd gasped, a collective inhale that sucked the air from my lungs. Tara's hands flew to her mouth, her squeal piercing my skull as she nodded yes. Every eye turned to me. They didn't blink. They waited for the meltdown, the sobbing girlfriend, the screaming banshee, the messy scene they could gossip about later. My chest burned, my throat tightened, but I didn't move. Not yet. Theo didn't even glance my way, too busy sliding that ring onto her finger like I wasn't there, like I hadn't spent $8,000 to make this night happen, like I didn't exist. His mother sidled up, her pearls clicking against her neck. She smelled of gin and judgment, her voice a low hiss in my ear. Don't make a scene, Shasha. Be graceful. Graceful. As if I were the one who'd just stabbed myself in the heart in front of 100 people. My fingers tightened around the receipt, the paper crinkling in my fist. I could have screamed. I could have thrown the cake at him or ripped the mic from his hand and told them all what a coward he was. But that's what they wanted. Proof I was the weak one. I smiled instead. Not a real smile, something sharp, something cold that didn't reach my eyes. The crowd shifted, uneasy, as I walked toward Tara. Her grin faltered when she saw me coming, her new ring glinting like a taunt. Theo finally looked at me, his mouth half open, but I didn't give him the chance to speak. I stopped in front of Tara, close enough to see the mascara smudge under her eyes, and pressed the receipt into her hand. My voice was a whisper, steady and venomous. He couldn't even afford his own betrayal. Her fingers closed around the paper, confusion creasing her face. I didn't wait for her to read it. I turned, my heels clicking on the rooftop tiles, and walked out. No tears. No shouting. Just the sound of my own heartbeat and the stunned silence swallowing the party behind me. I grabbed my purse from the coat check, ignored the valet's stammered questions, and kept moving until I was in my car, engine roaring. I didn't go home. Home was full of him, his socks in my laundry, his cologne on my pillows. I drove straight to the airport, the receipt's numbers still burning in my mind. 3 years of my life, and that's what it cost me. I parked, marched to the ticket counter, and slapped my credit card down. One way to Morocco, I said. The agent blinked, hesitated, then typed. First flight's in 2 hours. I nodded. Good enough. 20 minutes later, I sat at the terminal bar, a margarita in my hand. The salt stung my lips, but the tequila dulled the ache in my chest. My phone buzzed on the counter, lighting up with missed calls. One from Theo, probably some pathetic excuse I'd never hear. 37 from his family. His mom, his sisters, his cousins. All the people I'd spent years bailing out, planning for, fixing. They'd never called me this much when I was actually in their lives. I smirked, took a sip, and let it ring. The bartender slid a napkin under my glass. Rough night, he asked. I laughed, short and bitter. You have no idea. On the TV above him, some late-night show droned on, but all I could see was Theo's face, smirking, smug, thinking he'd won. And Tara, clutching that receipt, probably realizing too late what she'd signed up for. My phone buzzed again, his mom's name flashing. I silenced it, downed the rest of my drink, and grabbed my boarding pass. I wasn't running. I was walking away, calm, deliberate, a blade disguised as a breeze. They'd expected me to fall apart, to beg or break. But I didn't. I left them with the mess, the party, the bill, the truth, and I was already gone. Morocco wasn't a plan, it was a promise. To myself. To the Shasha I'd forgotten how to be. The gate agent called my flight. I stood, smoothed my dress, and headed for the plane. 38 missed calls, and not one of them mattered. Let them scramble. Let them drown in it. I was done carrying their weight. As I handed over my ticket, I felt something shift, lighter, sharper, alive. They'd underestimated me. And that was their first mistake. I stepped off the plane in Marrakesh, and the air hit me like a slap, hot, loud, alive. No sterile airport chill, no hum of a life I'd built for someone else. My phone vibrated in my pocket, but I didn't check it. Not yet. I'd landed 6 hours ago in a different world, and I wasn't ready to let Theo's mess drag me back. The customs line moved slow, and I stood there, passport in hand, feeling the weight of my choice settle in. Morocco. I'd picked it because Theo hated chaos, hated anything he couldn't control. This was my first rebellion, and it tasted like freedom. The cab ride to the Riad was a blur of honking horns and darting scooters. I checked in, dropped my bag on the tiled floor of a small room with a courtyard view, and finally pulled out my phone. The screen lit up, 47 missed calls now. One more from Theo, the rest from his family, plus a flood of texts. His sister's was the loudest. "Where are you? The party's a disaster. You can't just leave us like this." I laughed, a sharp, hollow sound that echoed off the walls. Leave them? They'd watched me bleed out on that rooftop and told me to smile about it. I scrolled further. A voicemail from his mom popped up, her voice shrill through the speaker. "Shasha, the band walked out because no one paid them. Tara's hysterical and Theo's a mess. Come back and fix this." I deleted it mid-sentence. Fix it? I'd fixed everything for them for years, birthdays, bills, their endless emergencies. I'd paid for that party with my savings, and they'd let him propose to Tara on my dime. They didn't get to call me their savior now. My inbox had a gem too, a forwarded email from the caterer to Theo's mom. Payment declined. $3,200 due immediately, or we're filing a complaint. I grinned. Tara must have tried to cover it with that receipt I'd handed her, only to find out Theo's card was as useless as his promises. The image of her standing there, flustered and broke, while the party crumbled around her, it warmed something dark in me. Good. Let them feel the chaos I'd carried alone. I wasn't just running, though. Sitting on that narrow bed, I opened my laptop and logged into our joint accounts. Theo never bothered with passwords, too lazy, too trusting. I'd managed it all, his car loan, his credit cards, the phone plan he couldn't live without. My fingers flew over the keys, transferring every responsibility to his name. The car payment? His problem. The phone bill? Cut off tomorrow. I didn't touch his money. There wasn't much anyway, but I untangled myself from his life, thread by thread. He'd wake up tomorrow and realize he couldn't even call for help without begging someone else. A knock at the door jolted me. A woman stood there, maybe 30, with sharp eyes and a warm smile. "I'm Amira," she said, handing me a key. "I run this place. You look like you're escaping something." I smirked, caught off guard. "Is it that obvious?" She shrugged. "I've seen that look before. Coffee." 10 minutes later, we sat in the courtyard, steam rising from chipped mugs. She asked questions, gentle ones, and I spilled enough. The party, the proposal, the receipt. Her laugh was low, approving. "You've got fire. Ever plan events here?" The question sparked something. I'd spent years organizing for Theo's family, turning chaos into perfection. "Why not here?" "I might," I said, and she nodded like she'd already decided I would. Amira was different, sharp, self-made, not tethered to anyone's whims. I liked her instantly. She left me with a promise. "Stick around. I know people who'd kill for someone like you." Alone again, I checked my phone one last time. A text from Theo. "Shasha, I'm sorry. Can we talk?" Sorry. He wasn't sorry when he knelt for Tara in front of me. I didn't reply. Instead, I pulled up Instagram and posted a photo. Me at the airport bar, margarita in hand, a half smile on my face. No caption. Let them wonder. Let them squirm. That night, I lay awake, not from regret, but from a restless energy I hadn't felt in years. I wasn't done with Theo, not by a long shot. Leaving wasn't enough. I wanted him to feel what I'd felt, to watch his world tilt and crack like mine had. He'd built his life on me, my money, my time, my silence, and I'd let him. No more. I'd dismantle it all, piece by piece, from 3,000 miles away. My phone buzzed again, his mom, probably, or one of his sisters. I turned it off, rolled over, and stared at the ceiling. Morocco wasn't just an escape, it was a battlefield. I'd landed here broken, but I wouldn't stay that way. They'd underestimated me, thought I'd crumble or crawl back. They were wrong. I closed my eyes, a plan forming, and for the first time in months, I slept without dreaming of him. I woke up in Marrakesh to a text from Theo's sister that made me laugh, so hard I nearly dropped my phone. "They took his car, Shasha. He's freaking out. What did you do?" What did I do? I'd stopped being his crutch, that's what. I'd cut the strings he didn't even know he'd been dangling from, and now he was falling, fast. I didn't reply. Let her figure it out. Let them all scramble in the mess I'd left behind. It had been 2 weeks since I landed in Morocco, and I'd barely had time to breathe. Amira wasn't kidding about knowing people. She'd dragged me to a meeting with some expat couple, rich, picky, desperate for a wedding planner who could pull off a last-minute miracle. I'd walked in with a notebook and a gut full of nerves, but by the end, they were eating out of my hand. "You're hired," the bride had said, her fiancé nodding like I'd just saved their lives. I'd smiled, calm on the outside, but inside I was buzzing. This was mine, my skill, my win, no one else's. Back home, Theo's world was imploding, and I got the updates in bits and pieces. His sister's texts were my favorite, short, panicked bursts of chaos. The car got repossessed because he missed the payment I'd always handled. His business phone went dead when the bill I'd shifted to his name didn't get paid. I'd seen his credit card alerts too. Declined transactions piling up like a house of cards collapsing. He'd never bothered to learn how it all worked because I'd done it for him. Now he was drowning, and I wasn't there to throw him a rope. His family was no better. His mom left me a voicemail, her voice tight with accusation. "Shasha, we're falling apart without you. The grocery delivery stopped, and no one knows the account passwords. How could you do this?" How could I? Easy. I'd stopped being their unpaid assistant. For years, I'd managed their lives, bills, schedules, emergencies, while they treated me like a convenience. Now they were lost, and I felt zero guilt. I deleted the message and turned my focus to the wedding. The expat gig was a beast, 200 guests, a villa outside Marrakesh, and a bride who changed her mind every 5 minutes. But I thrived on it. Amira helped, barking orders at vendors in Arabic while I sketched timelines and haggled over prices. We pulled it off in 10 days, and when the night came, I stood at the back, watching the bride walk down an aisle I'd designed. The crowd cheered, the couple kissed, and Amira nudged me. "You're good at this. Really good." I nodded, a quiet pride settling in. Theo had never seen this side of me, the one who could build something from nothing. He'd only seen the girl who fixed his messes. My phone pinged mid-reception, and I almost ignored it. Almost. It was an email from Tara, of all people, subject line. "I need to talk." I stepped outside, the music fading behind me, and opened it. "Shasha," he lied to me. "Said you were the broke one, that he'd been supporting you. I'm stuck with his bills, and he's useless. I'm done with him. What do you know?" I stared at the screen, my pulse kicking up. Tara, perfect, smug Tara, was cracking, and she was reaching for me. Humiliated, the same way I'd been. I leaned against the villa wall, fingers hovering over the keyboard. I'd kept a file on Theo, years of his dumb moves, saved in a folder I'd never planned to use. Overdrawn accounts, late payments, shady loans from his cousins he never repaid. It wasn't revenge back then, it was just me keeping track. Now it was a weapon. I typed back, "Meet me on a call tomorrow. I've got something you'll want to see." Then I attached a teaser. A screenshot of one bank statement, $5,000 overdrawn, his name in bold. I hit send, my chest tight with something dangerous and alive. Tara could be an ally, or she could be a loose cannon. Either way, I'd use her to twist the knife deeper. The next day, I sat in the Riyadh's courtyard, laptop open, waiting for her call. Amira passed by, raising an eyebrow. "Trouble?" she asked. "Opportunity," I said, and she smirked, leaving me to it. Tara's face popped up on the screen, pale and pissed. "He's a liar," she spat. "I'm out thousands because of him." I nodded, calm as stone. "I know. Want to hit him where it hurts?" Her eyes narrowed, then lit up. I emailed her the dossier. Every dirty detail, every secret he'd buried. "Do what you want with it," I said. "But if it gets out, he's done." She didn't hesitate. "It'll get out." The call ended, and I leaned back, adrenaline humming through me. Theo thought he'd broken me, but I was breaking him, slowly, surely, from a continent away. My new life was blooming, and his was rotting. I closed the laptop, stood, and walked back to the wedding cleanup. The bride hugged me, gushing thanks, and I smiled, a real one this time. I wasn't just surviving. I was winning. I was elbow-deep in a seating chart for a diplomat's gala when Amira slid her phone across the table, a smirk tugging at her lips. "Your ex is trending back home," she said. I glanced at the screen. Some gossip blog had picked up the story. Asterisk local businessman exposed as deadbeat fraud. Asterisk Tara hadn't just leaked the dossier. She'd detonated it. Screenshots of Theo's overdrawn accounts, texts begging his cousins for cash, even a grainy photo of him yelling at the repo guy who took his car. It was all there, splashed across social media for his whole world to see. I handed the phone back, my heartbeat steady. Good for her, I said and went back to my chart. But inside I was electric. It had been a month since I'd sent Tara that file, and I'd watched the fallout unfold in snippets. Texts from his sister, voicemails from his mom, all begging me to stop something I'd barely started. Tara had taken it and run, and now Theo was a pariah. His buddies, those loudmouths who'd toasted him at the party, went silent. His family turned on him too, once they saw the proof he'd been skimming their savings for years. His sister's last message said it all. He's out of the house. Mom found out about the missing $10,000. No one's talking to him. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. He'd built his life on lies, and I'd handed Tara the match to burn it down. Meanwhile, I was climbing. The expat wedding had put me on the map in Marrakesh, and word spread fast. Rich foreigners with deep pockets started calling. First a tech mogul's vow renewal, then a fashion exec's birthday bash. By the time the Diplomats' Gala rolled around, I was the name they whispered when they needed perfection. I'd traded Theo's chaos for my own empire, and it felt damn good. That night, I stood in a villa overlooking the city, directing waiters in crisp white shirts as guests in tailored suits mingled around a pool that shimmered under string lights. Amira caught my eye from across the room and raised her glass. I nodded back. This was my life now, mine alone. My phone buzzed in my pocket, and I almost ignored it. Almost. I slipped into a quiet corner, the hum of the party fading, and checked the screen. An email from Theo. Subject: Please, Shasha. My thumb hovered over delete, but curiosity won. I opened it. Shasha, I've lost everything. The car, the business, my family, they all hate me. I know I screwed up. I was stupid. Tara's gone, and I'm sleeping on a friend's couch, but he's kicking me out tomorrow. I need you. Come back. I'll do anything. His words dripped with desperation, each line a plea I could have written for him months ago when I'd been the one begging him to care. I read it again, waiting for the ache, the guilt, the pull to fix him. Nothing came. I felt empty. Not sad, not angry, just done. The band struck up a slow song, and laughter floated through the air. I leaned against the wall, staring at his words, and a memory flashed, him on that rooftop, ring in hand, choosing Tara while I stood there breaking. He'd thought I'd always be there to catch him. He was wrong. I closed the email, didn't reply, and slipped the phone back into my pocket. Let him sleep on the street. Let him figure it out. I wasn't his lifeline anymore. I was halfway back to the party when my phone rang, his mom. I sighed, answered, ready to hang up fast. Shasha, thank God, she started, her voice trembling. We're a mess. Theo's ruined us, and I don't know what to do. You have to help. I cut her off with a tap, the line going dead mid-sentence. Help. I'd spent years helping, and she'd whispered, be graceful, while her son gutted me. I blocked her number, then his sister's. Every tether to that life snipped clean. The weight lifted, sharp and sudden, like I'd been holding my breath for months, and finally let it go. Back at the gala, the diplomat grabbed my arm, grinning. Best party I've ever thrown. You're a genius. I smiled, thanked him, and moved on, directing the caterers with a flick of my wrist. The night stretched on, flawless and mine. Later, by the pool, Amira found me again. You okay? She asked, her eyes catching the light. I thought about Theo's email, his mom's call, the life I'd torched behind me. Yeah, I said, and meant it. Better than okay. I raised my glass to hers, the clink sharp in the night. To Grace, I said, my voice low but firm. She tilted her head, curious, but didn't ask. She didn't need to. Grace wasn't weakness. It was power, cold and deliberate, the kind I'd claimed when I walked away. Theo was finished, his family was flailing, and I was here, standing taller than I'd ever thought I could. The party roared on, and I let it carry me, untouchable, unbroken, alive. I stood in the middle of the Diplomats' Gala, a glass of champagne in my hand, watching the room hum with life I'd created. The villa glowed, chandeliers casting gold over silk dresses and sharp suits, the pool outside reflecting the stars. 3 months in Morocco, and I'd built something bigger than I'd ever dreamed. Guests laughed, clinked glasses, and whispered my name like it meant something. Shasha, the planner who could turn chaos into magic. I'd stopped checking my phone for ghosts from my old life, but that night it buzzed again, insistent, pulling me back. I slipped onto the balcony, the noise fading to a murmur, and opened the message. It wasn't Theo this time, it was Tara. A photo loaded first. her in a bright cafe, smiling, a new haircut framing her face. Below it, a note. Thanks, Shasha. I sold the dossier story to a blogger, paid off his debts and got out. Fresh start. You were right about him. I stared at her face, that smug grin from the rooftop gone, replaced by something real. She'd clawed her way free, just like I had. I didn't reply, but I saved the photo. A reminder that revenge could cut two ways: destruction for him, liberation for us. Amira joined me, leaning on the railing. You're quiet tonight, she said, her voice soft but probing. I smirked. Just thinking. She didn't push, just stood there, her presence steady. She'd become my anchor here. My friend, my partner in this wild new world. The gala was ours, a joint win, but I felt the weight of it more than usual. Not heavy, though, solid, like I'd finally grown into my own skin. My phone buzzed again, a text from Theo's sister slipping through before I could block her. He's gone, Shasha. Mom kicked him out for good. Works at a gas station now. You happy? I read it twice, waiting for the sting of guilt or the flicker of pity. Nothing. He'd been a king in his own mind, charming, untouchable, until I'd pulled the curtain back. Now he was pumping gas alone, a shadow of the man who'd knelt for Tara on my dime. I blocked her number, then his mom's, then every name tied to that life. Done. Over. Erased. The diplomat found me later, his wife on his arm, both beaming. Shasha, you're a marvel, he said, shaking my hand like I'd brokered world peace instead of a party. We're hosting a summit next month. Say you'll do it. I nodded, calm as ever. Send me the details. They walked off. And I caught my reflection in the glass door, black dress, shoulders back, eyes sharp. I didn't recognize her at first, this woman who'd replaced the one who'd begged Theo to stay. She was mine, though, and she was unstoppable. I'd heard the last of Theo's fall out through the grapevine. Amira's cousin, who knew someone back home, filled me in. His family had cut him off completely, his friends ghosted, and the business he'd bragged about was a pile of debt. I didn't gloat, didn't need to. He'd lost everything because he'd never had anything real, just me, holding it all together. Without me, he was nothing. I'd walked away with the receipt that night, but I'd taken more than that. I'd taken my power back. My phone lit up one more time, an email notification. Theo again. I didn't open it, just swiped it to trash. Whatever he had left to say, more apologies, more pleas, it didn't matter. I'd read his last cry for help at the last gala, and it hadn't moved me then. Now it was just noise. I turned the phone off, slipped it into my clutch, and stepped back into the party. The band played on, the crowd pulsed, and I moved through it all untouchable. Later, after the guests thinned out, I found myself on the balcony again, alone this time. The Atlas Mountains loomed in the distance, dark and steady, cutting the horizon like a promise. I leaned on the railing, the night air cool against my skin, and let it sink in. I wasn't just whole, I was invincible. Theo's betrayal had cracked me open, but I'd rebuilt myself stronger, sharper, free. Morocco wasn't an escape anymore. It was my kingdom, and I'd earned every inch of it. I whispered to the dark, "Grace is mine," and the words felt like a vow. Not their grace, their quiet, submissive version, but mine, fierce and unyielding. The party roared below, my name on their lips, and I stood there, taller than I'd ever been, ready for whatever came next. Hey, if you've stuck with me this far, hit that like button and tell me, what's your revenge story? Drop it in the comments, and let's talk about how you took your power back. Subscribe for more, because this isn't the end.